Hello, everyone. He left. You watched him go, feeling the weight of his absence like an unanswered question. You told yourself you would move on, that time would make sense of it all. And just when you were beginning to heal, there he was, standing at your door, messaging you late at night, acting as if the past never happened. But why? Why do men leave only to return as if nothing has changed? Most people will give you surface level answers. He needed space, he was afraid of commitment, he didn't know what he wanted. But the truth is rarely that simple. A man doesn't walk away from someone he truly values unless he believes there is something more for him elsewhere. Maybe he thought the grass was greener. Maybe he believed that distance would give him clarity. Maybe he wasn't even thinking, just reacting to an internal conflict he couldn't put into words. But then something happened. He realized that what he was looking for wasn't out there, that the so-called freedom he thought he needed didn't bring him peace, that the new distractions, new experiences, even new people, none of it gave him what he left behind. So he comes back, not necessarily because he has changed, but because he has lost his way. But here's where it gets complicated. A man's return is not always a reflection of his love. It is often a reflection of his loss. He misses what you provided. He remembers how you made him feel. He recalls the safety of your presence, the comfort of your support, the way you understood him when the world didn't. And when life humbles him, when things don't go as planned, when the excitement of the unknown fades into loneliness, he starts looking backward instead of forward. But what's missing in this story? You. Because while he was away, you were left to rebuild. You were the one who had to pick up the pieces of a love that was put on pause without your permission. You were the one who had to battle the nights filled with questions, with self-doubt, with wondering if you weren't enough. And now he's back, expecting things to be where he left them. But the real question isn't why he returned. The real question is, do you still want what he walked away from? Love isn't just about who leaves and who returns. Love is about who stays, who grows, and who values you even in the moments of uncertainty. If a man can leave once, he can leave again. If he comes back without change, without accountability, without a deeper understanding of what he risked losing, then his return is not a blessing, it's a test. So before you welcome him with open arms, ask yourself, did he return because he loves you or because he lost himself? The answer will tell you everything you need to know. Is love really enough? We grow up believing that love conquers all, that if two people care deeply enough, they can overcome anything. Love is painted as the ultimate solution, the force that binds, heals, and sustains. But if that were true, why do people walk away from love? Why do relationships end even when love still exists? The truth is, love alone has never been enough. Love is an emotion, a feeling that comes and goes like the tide. It's powerful, intoxicating even, but it is not a guarantee of security. People love each other deeply, yet still find themselves hurt, misunderstood, and disconnected. Love alone doesn't fix communication issues. It doesn't replace trust once it's broken. It doesn't make someone stay when their mind is already halfway out the door. Love can make you fight for something, but it cannot force someone to fight alongside you. You can love a person with every ounce of your being, but if they are emotionally unavailable, unwilling to grow, or constantly running from commitment, love will not keep them in place. Love does not erase personal wounds or fill the emptiness someone carries within themselves. It does not magically make a person ready, loyal, or consistent. That's where we often get it wrong. We think if we love harder, if we are more patient, more forgiving, or more understanding, it will be enough to make someone stay, to make them see our worth. But love cannot make a person value what they are not ready to appreciate. Love cannot teach someone lessons they refuse to learn. It cannot replace compatibility, respect, or shared vision. Many people leave relationships, not because they don't love their partner, but because love alone could not sustain what was missing. It could not heal insecurities. It could not bridge the gap between differing values. It could not replace the discipline, the effort, and the intentionality required to make something last. So is love really enough? No. Love is only the beginning. It is the foundation, but it is not the structure. It must be built upon with trust, respect, communication, shared effort, and commitment. It must be accompanied by actions that reinforce it, by choices that protect it, by a willingness to work through the difficult moments instead of running from them. Because at the end of the day, love does not keep people together. Choices do. The choice to stay, the choice to grow, the choice to fight for something beyond just a feeling. Love without these choices is fragile, fleeting, and incomplete. So if you ever find yourself asking why love wasn't enough to make someone stay, remember this: it was never supposed to be. Love is powerful, but love alone is not a promise. The real question isn't whether love is enough, but whether the love you have is being nurtured, respected, and protected by both people involved. Because when love is met with neglect, indifference, or selfishness, it will always fall short. When men leave, they reveal their truth. It may not be the truth they spoke when they were with you, nor the promises they made when they held your hand. It is the truth they were too afraid to say out loud, the truth they may not have even admitted to themselves. A man's departure is rarely without reason, even if the reason isn't clear to you. It could be uncertainty, fear, complacency, or the realization that what he once wanted no longer aligns with who he is. But whatever the reason, his decision to leave speaks louder than any explanation he might give. Because in leaving, he is showing you his priorities. He is showing you whether he was willing to fight for the relationship or whether he was looking for an easy exit. He is showing you if his love was deep enough to endure challenges, or if it was only convenient when things were good. Sometimes a man leaves because he is searching for something he believes he cannot find where he is. Maybe he thinks there's more out there, that the unknown holds something better. Other times, he leaves because he never fully allowed himself to be present in the first place. His body was there, but his heart, his mind, his commitment, that was already elsewhere. And then they're the ones who leave because they never truly saw you, not in the way you deserved. They loved you within their own capacity, but that capacity was limited. They took what they needed from you, the warmth, the support, the safety of your presence. But when the time came to pour back into the relationship, they hesitated. They realized that love requires more than taking. It demands effort, responsibility, and depth. And for some, that is a weight they are unwilling to carry. But here is the truth that matters most. When a man leaves, he is not just revealing who he is. He is giving you the clarity you may have needed all along. He is showing you what he values, what he fears, what he lacks the courage to build. And as painful as that truth may be, it is also a gift. Because the wrong man leaving your life is never a loss. It is an opening. It is a clearing of space for something greater, for someone who won't question whether to stay, for a love that does not waver when tested. So when a man leaves, don't chase after him searching for an explanation that his actions have already given you. Don't try to rewrite his truth into something more comfortable, something easier to accept. Instead, see it for what it is. His leaving is not the end of your worth. It is not a reflection of what you lacked. It is simply proof that he was never meant to go further with you. And when the wrong person leaves, the right one is one step closer to finding you. The comeback isn't always about love. When he returns, your heart might race, your mind flooded with memories of what once was. You might tell yourself that his return is proof that love never truly faded, that fate has pulled you back together. But before you surrender to that hope, stop and ask yourself, why is he really back? People assume that when a man returns, it's because he's had a change of heart, that he's realized what he lost and wants to make things right. But the truth is often more complicated. His return doesn't always mean he loves you. It might simply mean he misses you. And missing you is not the same as valuing you. It is not the same as being ready, willing, or capable of giving you what you deserve. Sometimes men come back because they lost something else, not because they gained new wisdom. Maybe the world outside wasn't as exciting as they thought it would be. Maybe they tested the waters elsewhere and found them colder than expected. Maybe they faced rejection, loneliness, or hardships they didn't anticipate, and now they seek comfort in what was once familiar. But comfort isn't love, and seeking you because he is lost does not mean he is ready to stay. At times a man returns because he wants access to you, not commitment with you. He remembers how you cared, how you supported him, how you poured into him in ways others did not. And when he finds himself in need, whether emotionally, physically, or even just for an ego boost, he circles back, hoping you will still be there, open and willing. But love is not about convenience. Love is not about being an option when all else fails. And then there are those who return simply because they know they can. They know your heart, your kindness, your willingness to forgive. They rely on nostalgia to blur the pain they once caused, hoping you'll see the past through rose-colored glasses instead of remembering the reasons they left in the first place. But love should never be a revolving door. If someone walks away and expects to return without accountability, without change, without effort, then their comeback is not about love, it is about control. So before you welcome him back with open arms, ask yourself, has he changed, or is he just searching for what's familiar? Is he here to build, or is he here to take? Love is not just about wanting someone. It is about showing up, doing the work, and making the choice to stay even when it's hard. If his return is not backed by action, by growth, by true understanding of what he risked losing, then it is not love. It is simply another cycle waiting to repeat. Because real love doesn't leave and come back like a passing season. Real love stays, nurtures, and grows. And if his comeback isn't built on that, then it's not love. It's just another distraction. Your response defines the next chapter. Not his return, not his apology, not the words he uses to explain why he left in the first place. What happens next is not determined by his intentions, but by your choice, by how you respond when the past knocks at your door, asking for another chance. It's easy to believe that a man's return is the defining moment, that his presence alone is proof of unfinished business, of love that still lingers. But the truth is, people return for many reasons, and not all of them are rooted in love, respect, or growth. What truly shapes the future is not whether he comes back, but how you respond when he does. If you respond with open arms without questioning whether anything has changed, you risk repeating a cycle that once broke you. If you respond out of fear of loneliness, fear that no one else will come, fear that this is your only chance at love, you surrender your power, allowing history to repeat itself. But if you respond with clarity, with wisdom, with the strength to demand more than just words, you shift the narrative. You set the tone for what comes next, whether that means rekindling something real or closing a door that was never meant to stay open. The way you respond isn't just about him, it's about you. It's about what you've learned in his absence, about how you've grown, about the standards you've set for yourself. When he left, you had to navigate the pain, the confusion, the silence. You had to rebuild to find strength in your own company, to rediscover your worth outside of his validation. And now that he's back, the question is not about him, it's about who you have become in his absence. Are you the same person who once tolerated inconsistency, empty promises, or half-hearted love? Or have you evolved into someone who knows what they deserve, someone who no longer settles for potential, but demands proof of real change? Because if his return is only met with your old patterns, nothing truly changes. But if his return is met with the wisdom gained in his absence, you rewrite the story. A comeback means nothing without accountability. Words mean nothing without action. The past means nothing if it does not lead to growth. So when he returns, don't just listen to his words. Watch his actions. Don't just remember what once was, evaluate what is being offered now. And most importantly, don't let his presence alone determine your decision. Let your response be guided by the lessons his absence taught you. Because your response is not just an answer to him, it's a message to yourself. It tells you whether you are still living in the past or whether you are ready to step into a future built on self-worth, strength, and wisdom. And in the end, your response doesn't just define the next chapter, it defines the person you are becoming. Stop chasing closure, start creating clarity. Too many people spend their time searching for the perfect ending, the final conversation, the explanation that will make everything make sense. They believe that if they could just understand why things happened the way they did, the pain would lessen, the questions would disappear, and they could finally move on. But closure is not something you get from another person. It is something you create for yourself. The truth is, closure is often an illusion. We think we need it, but what we really seek is relief from uncertainty. We want to know why they left, why they changed, why they didn't choose us the way we chose them. But even if they gave us every answer we asked for, would it really change the outcome? Would it undo the hurt? Would it make them stay? Or would it just keep us tied to a past that is already gone? Clarity, on the other hand, is a gift you give yourself. It's not about understanding someone else's choices. It's about understanding your own worth. It's about realizing that their decision to walk away was not about your value, but about their own path. It's about accepting that some relationships are lessons, not destinations. When you stop chasing closure and start seeking clarity, you shift your focus from them to you. Instead of waiting for them to explain why they hurt you, ask yourself, what did this experience teach me? Instead of hoping they'll come back to give you peace, give yourself permission to create peace without them. Instead of replaying the past, looking for hidden meanings, focus on building a future that is no longer defined by unanswered questions. Chasing closure keeps you stuck. It keeps you looking backward, hoping that the past will give you something it never did. But clarity moves you forward. Clarity says, I don't need all the answers to heal. I don't need an apology to find peace. I don't need someone else to free me from the weight of what happened. I have the power to free myself. This doesn't mean the pain disappears overnight. It doesn't mean you won't still wonder what if, but it does mean that you stop putting your healing in someone else's hands. It means you take control of your own narrative, because the truth is, the people who hurt you may never give you the closure you think you need. And even if they do, it may not bring the relief you expect. But clarity, that is something you can create right now. So stop waiting for an ending that may never come. Stop looking for validation from someone who couldn't give you what you deserved. Instead, look within. Choose to move forward. Choose to see the lesson. Choose to close the door yourself. Because real closure isn't something you find, it's something you decide. And the moment you stop chasing it, you begin to create the clarity that truly sets you free. The power has always been in your hands. The return of someone from your past does not define your future. Your response does. Love is not about longing for closure or hoping for change in someone else. It's about creating clarity for yourself. If his comeback is not built on genuine growth and accountability, then it is not about love. It's about convenience. You don't need to chase explanations, apologies, or validation. True peace comes when you decide that you are enough, with or without the answers you once sought. Your worth is not measured by who leaves or who returns, but by how you choose to move forward. You are not bound to the past. You are free to choose clarity, self-respect, and a future that aligns with your growth. Thank you for listening. Now go create the life you truly deserve.